just finished your first match of Deadlock and you're probably thinking, what on earth did I just buy? In the March 2026 update, Valve completely overhauled the shop. We've gone from 16 slots down to 12, and the way you gain power has shifted from just buying big items to investing in trees. Right, okay. Anyway, so obviously there's a lot of new players coming to Deadlock at the moment. It's getting a lot of attention, so I thought I'd make a quick video explaining to new players how items work and what you should be buying. So if you've come from another MOBA like League of Legends, you're gonna have a little bit of knowledge on how this works. It's just gonna be a case of understanding what each item does, which will come over time. The people who don't, I'm gonna go over everything now. Hopefully I'll keep it quite short as well, so let's get going. So in Deadlock you have three types of items. You have your orange items, which are gun items, so that's your primary fire. So anything that you're doing with mouse 1 essentially is your gun items. You then have your green items. These are more vitality buffs, so things that make your health bigger, things that are going to support your teammates, things that are going to make it hard for your opponents to play against you. And then you have your spirit buffs, spirit items, sorry. So what these are going to be doing is buffing your actual abilities of the character. So if you look at the bottom bar, these are my abilities. So if I'm going to use this one in Furnace, if I had a lot of spirit, I do a lot more damage. So not too complicated. Moving on to the different tiers of items. So you have tier 1, tier 2, tier 3, tier 4. These are laid out for you if you go over any of them. So you have your tier 1 items, they cost 800 souls. These are normally items you're going to be buying in laning phase. Tier 2 items, which are 1,600. Tier 3, 3,200. And your tier 4, which is 6,400. These are the big items. Again, whatever character you're playing, it's going to completely change what you're going to be building on them. So I can't exactly give you any tips for which tier 1s are the best. But some tier 1s that are built on pretty much any character are some of these green items here. So Healing Right, for example. If you're low in lane and you're getting poked out, you're not positioning well, and you're just getting quite annoyed, buying Healing Right would be quite a good item for you. Essentially how it works is you just use it and it will heal you. I'm not low in base, so it doesn't show, but it heals like a good chunk of your health. Later on in the game, it's not going to do that much because it is a set amount of health. It's going to heal 300 health back, which is a good amount in lane. If you look, I have 900 health now. So that's like a third of my health bar. If you're also struggling against some certain characters, these are two items that are going to help a lot: spirit shielding and weapon shielding. So if you're against, for example, Lady Geist, and you're just getting bombed constantly, buying spirit shielding is going to help you a lot. What it does is if you take a set amount of damage, a set amount of spirit damage, you're going to get a shield afterwards. It's going to protect you a lot more in lane. So, and same for this, except it's going to be with gun damage. These are key items to buy if you're against, certain characters in lane. Battle Vest is also a good alternative to this. If you're against a character that's healing a lot, just, it's in their base kit, like Victor, or, you're against like a Drifter or anything like that. Anything just has a lot of life still, or just healing a lot. Healbane's a really good early purchase as well. It's the cheapest method of anti-heal in the game. 35% is really good as well. And if you're on a character like Graves or Silver, who only has 2 stamina, extra stamina is always a good purchase as well. And if you're feeling a little bit confident, Golden Goose Egg is a brand new item that just came out. Essentially what this does is the longer you have it, the more souls it builds up. It takes 5 minutes for this to buy itself back. So it is considered not to be great because of the 10% damage penalty. So at the moment it's probably not in the best state, but it works a little bit like Darkseal if you guys ever played League. So if you're playing a character that's not too reliant on damage, this might be a good option for you to buy. Now the next thing I want to go over, which is hugely important, it's really hard to know this if you're a new player because it's so hidden down in the bottom left. But if you hover over any of these are your essentially how much spirit or health or gun damage you currently have. And if you look over at this investment chart on the right, you'll see a star next to the 4.8k mark. So these are considered to be 4.8k soul spikes, and they are separated between these three different types of items, right? What these mean is when you invest 4.8k souls into a certain color of item, your investment is going to spike hugely if you hit 4.8 thousand. So for example, if you look at spirit, you're gaining about 4 per jump in the chart. When it hits 4.8k, it suddenly jumps from going up by 4 to 20. That's a huge amount. So when you hit that spike before your opponents, that is your cue to attack them. Essentially, it's going to how it works. Same with health. Your health's going to get buffed by 34%, which is a huge increase. It's going to be the exact same with gun damage as well. So yeah, this is really important. I would recommend optimizing your builds to get to 4.8k as soon as possible on a certain item depending on what character you're playing. So if I'm on Infernus, I would normally try to hit 4.8k on Spirit as soon as I can, ignore gun items, and just go straight for the Spirit Spike. Right, the next thing I'm going to talk about is actives and imbued items. So actives are essentially items like this or Fleetfoot, and it basically means that you now have extra abilities to use. So say I bought Rusted Barrel, means I can slow the fire rate of someone, or Fleetfoot means that I'm not slowed down when I'm shooting, I'm a little bit faster as well. So just items that basically just you're buying new abilities to use. Imbued items are items that are imbued into certain abilities. So let's say a compressed cooldown, it's going to ask me which one do I want to choose. Let's say I want to choose my Napalm. This means my Napalm ability is going to have its cooldown reduced. You can see where it says underneath, it says imbued by compressed cooldown. And we can have a look here, it's being shortened by 18%. These are snackable as well, so if I wanted to buy Mercurial Magnum, put it on my Napalm, I can now like reload my mag by pressing the Napalm because of the item, because it's been imbued. It won't work with every other item, it's just the one that's been imbued onto. Last thing I want to talk about, so this is my build that I use for Infernus, it's one of the most popular ones. One thing I'm going to recommend new players is try to get out of the habit of building left to right. A lot of people will just build, just buy this, just go across until they reach this. It's recommended for a lot of characters. You can see here it says just go left to right, that's fine. Although when you get later on into the game, you're going to have to start buying some of these more optional items. So normally what I do is when I hit around this point in the game, I would look to buy one of these defenses. So if there's a lot of gun damage, I'll buy Plated, a lot of spirit damage, I'll buy Spellbreaker, and so on and so on. There's a huge amount of optional green utility items you can buy. I'd really get into the habit of having a look at what your enemies are buying and try to buy items that counter that. Some key items that I'm going to quickly go over for good counters is Dispel Magic. My webcam is covering it at the moment, but what Dispel Magic does is if you have an on-hit effect on you, so let's say that's Siphon Bullets, Crushing Fists, Infernus' Burn, Haze's Stacks, anything that appears next to your health bar, using Dispel Magic, which is an active, will get rid of that completely and also heal you. Metal Skin is a really good option against gun characters. It makes you completely immune to bullets. So if Haze is being a bit of a problem, using Metal Skin when she's ulting will literally negate it entirely. If you've got characters with really high fire rates, Juggernaut is normally your best option to go to. And if you want to counter literally every single ability in the game, I would invest in Counterspell, which is only 3,200. And there's also a ton more you can look at. I would recommend going through every single green tier 4, tier 3, having a look at which ones are going to be helpful for the enemies you have struggling with in the late game. That's the basics of items in Deadlock. I hope this was helpful to anyone. And yeah, I'll see you later.